Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are here with our first reaction to some beef, some rap beef that is going on between Jim Jones and Pusha T. And I'm here to get into Jim Jones from the block performance that he did. I think it just dropped like two nights ago. And I'm going to react to it. Let's get into it right now.
But I'm running this shit, I perform this shit,
So if you are watching this video and you had no idea that Jim Jones and Pusha T were even beefing, well, let me just fill you in before we get into this right quick. Jim Jones responded to Billboard and Vibe putting out their top 50 rappers of all time. They put Pusha T at number 29 on that list of all time. All-time rappers, Pusha T clocks in at number 29 out of 50. Jim Jones responds to it and says, no one knows Pusha T like that. Pusha T doesn't have influence. He's not that big. No one wanted to be like Pusha T. Pusha T is this and that. And, he kind of goes off on that. And I really think Jim Jones kind of had like a NY state of mind in that like point of view, because Jim Jones came up with, he came up with like Dipset and all that. Even before that, I mean, Jim Jones had a name, but him and Dipset in the early 2000s made noise, and they just brought a waviness to the hip hop culture. And Dipset were so just, their impact was so big. I think everyone, I think Dipset impacted the culture and how everyone wanted to dress. The big jerseys. Joel's with the bandana on his head. The waviness and the coziness of Cameron. Stuff like that. So I really think that Jim Jones really approached that interview like that, like comparing the impact of a Pusha T clips and like the Dipset and just that whole thing. I think NY and Virginia and their surroundings were so different; they just came up differently in the rap game. But I get at what Jim Jones was saying, but lyrically, not impact, culture, stuff like that. Lyrically, though, I think Pusha T is on that top 50 list of all time. I don't think, maybe not that high at number 29, but I certainly think he is on that list. And I don't even know Jim Jones even sniffs the top 50. Maybe not even top 100. And I'm just being real with you. Jim Jones was never that lyrical guy. I think he just brought a certain style to when he rapped, which was cool. But come on now. So that happened, right? That interview happened. Jim Jones said this and that about Pusha T. Pusha T goes on to, I think it was just like last week. Pharrell is like he has a certain spot Pharrell does at Louis Vuitton, maybe like the creative director or something at Louis Vuitton as the men's clothing or whatever. I don't know. But Pusha T was walking that runway at the Louis Vuitton, a kind of like fashion show with his brother Malice. They showed off some clothing. They walked that runway, but while Pusha T and Malice were walking, Pusha T had a song that no one has heard of yet. Pusha T was walking out to his song that no one has heard of, and it was kind of a response to Jim Jones. So the internet is saying. A lot of subliminal messages, of course. No names were said in that track that Pusha T and his brother were walking to, but a lot of people were saying it's a response to Jim Jones saying that about him. And then just 2 nights ago, we get a response to that from Jim Jones, and this is what we're about to watch right now. Jim Jones responds to Pusha T from the block performance in NY, on the street of NY. He's really outside with it, and I really think that kind of adds a certain look to this beef, because I think because Pusha T kind of responded at a fashion show at Louis Vuitton and no one knew what was happening. They were just like, oh, it's a song and they're walking. So, but I think just the different sets and what they're just the different settings and what they're responding to. I think it kind of gives off a certain vibe to how they're going about it. But I think it was smart for Pusha T to do that because Jim Jones was kind of going at that angle of like no one wanted to be like Pusha T, no one wanted to dress like him, no one wanted to be like this and that. So Pusha T responded subliminals at a Louis Vuitton fashion show. So, you know what I'm saying? And Jim Jones brings it back to the street in NY. So it kind of gives off this, oh, you're there and I'm here. I'm really outside with it. You're with a whole bunch of people who have money, rich people, fashion shows. I don't care about that. But let's bring it back to the roots and the street of things. And if you want to go there, Pusha T is going to bring it there. So let's get into this Jim Jones response that just dropped 2 days ago. From the block, Jim Jones, my reaction, man. Let's go. Hopefully I do enough to earn your sub. Sorry for that long intro. Just had to give a nice history lesson. But let's get into this.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kinda disappointed, nigga. But listen here, before you drop that, before you drop this shit, let me give you some inspiration, cause you lacking, homie. That shit was trash, we gon' let them get a do-over. They got you gas, you must think that you the new Hover. You a 4.0, nigga, I jumped in a new Rover. Your brother still jumping in bed and you tell him move over. These two roach niggas don't know what to do on no raid. Kanye gave you whips, but that's what they do to the slaves. You tryna act bad, but we ain't doing. Drop this shit. Let me give you some inspiration, cause you
Come on, Jimmy.
That shit was trash, we gon' let them get a do-over. They got you gas, you must think that you the new Hover. You a 4.0, nigga, I jumped in a new Rover. Your brother still jumping in bed and you tell him move over. These two roach niggas don't know what to do on no raid. Kanye gave you whips, but that's what they do to the slaves. You tryna act bad, but we ain't doing charades. I really have bombs on the block just like I threw a grenade. What you need? I don't got no time to be concerned with no watch you got. You never been uptown, by now work up by the poppy spot. Tryna get illusions when you run up in the Aki spot. My 5,000 bottles, you turn around and get a choppy chop. I spent 500,000 down in Mazda spot.
That's NY talk, bro. He's getting real NY on that.
Kanye gave you whips, but that's what they do to the slaves. You tryna act bad, but we ain't doing charades. I really have bombs on the block just like I threw a grenade. What you need? I don't got no time to be concerned with no watch you got. You never been uptown, by now work up by the poppy spot. Tryna get illusions when you run up in the Aki spot. My 5,000 bottles, you turn around and get a choppy chop. I spent 500,000 down in Mazda spot. I got a $500,000 car with the bras on top. And fuck their flowers, we got roses with the stars on top. I make a toast with my jewels like a mazel tov. My name is my name, but they ain't screaming yet. They talking about the rapper Kane, but we ain't seen it yet. We got the switches on that bitches, yo.
He said my name is my name, but they ain't screaming that. Pusha T is one of his albums a few years ago where it was called My Name Is My Name.
With the stars on top, I make a toast with my jewels like a mazel tov. My name is my name, but they ain't screaming yet. They talking about the rapper Kane, but we ain't seen it yet. We got the switches on that bitches, your whole team get wet. But let me chill, cause I don't wanna get my team upset. The only beef you know, nigga, is Arby's or the Big Mac. We don't drive through, we drive by in the car with a Big Mac. That last shit you dropped, that shit was garbage.
So Pusha T wrote the jingle for McDonald's. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. That's Pusha T. And then he did a kind of like a jingle or like advertisement for Arby's, stuff like that. So that's what Jim Jones is saying right there.
The whole team get wet. But let me chill, cause I don't wanna get my team upset. The only beef you know, nigga, is Arby's or the Big Mac. We don't drive through, we drive by in the car with a Big Mac. That last shit you dropped, that shit was garbage, take that shit back. Plus you got your brother rapping, what you trying to bring the clips back?
False. Come on, man. He said the last stuff you dropped was not it, but it was it, and one of the best albums of the year. So come on.
Only beef you know, nigga, is Arby's or the Big Mac. We don't drive through, we drive by in the car with a Big Mac. That last shit you dropped, that shit was garbage, take that shit back. Plus you got your brother rapping, what you trying to bring the clips back? Talking about your brother, what happened to that boy? It's looking like it, they been selling crack to that boy. Really though, enough of the jokes, is how niggas get embarrassed. Really got some money, I catch you niggas out in Paris. I got shoot.
Oh my gosh. It's over. Jones, it's done, bro. You know what happened with Drake when Drake mentioned Pusha T's fiance? And not in a bad way, but like he went there. He mentioned the name. So Pusha T took that as like, okay, you mentioned my wife. I'm going to take this a few more steps. And I'm going to mention the whole family. Your whole family's getting it. You want to mention my brother and, you know, the journey that my brother has been on, Malice? I'm scared for Jim Jones at this moment. But that I'm not gonna lie, that was a nice little. You want to talk? What happened with your brother? What happened to that boy? You know, they did that song with Baby. The clips. Goodness gracious.
Your brother, what happened to that boy? Big Mac. We don't drive through, we drive by in the car with a Big Mac.
I'm so scared for this man.
That shit was garbage, take that shit back. Plus you got your brother rapping, what you trying to bring the clips back? Talking about your brother, what happened to that boy? It's looking like it, they be selling crack to that boy. Really though, enough of the jokes, is how niggas get embarrassed. Really got some money, I catch you niggas out in Paris. I got shooters like Luca that hit you niggas out in Dallas. Y'all be dressing kinda weird, man, you really need a stylist. Plus, we all know what you identify with. Plus, you kinda sorta dress, nigga, you been a fly bitch. And then he said that I was really chasing the feature. Niggas a gorilla cause he got some apes in his features. All my gorillas got stones, I had these apes come and meet you. I put these billies on a jet, you pick a place there, meet you, nigga. And talk about my jewels, that was a cheap shot. And these is all VVS, these ain't the cheap rocks. I don't know if you a rapper, I said treat you like a street op. I know the top 50 list, I was a I could imagine what you going through. Shit, we just, I mean, you know.
All right, now listen. That was cool, okay? That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But man, I am scared for this man. I am scared for him. You mentioned the brother. I think Pusha T, this is enough, more than enough for Pusha T to, you know, send out a response. And I'm expecting a response this week. I think Pusha T has most of this, of his diss. I think Pusha T has a lot more than his diss already done. And I think he puts the final tweaks on it and sends it out this week. I think Pusha T is a very, very calculated rapper, especially when it comes to these beefs. We saw how fast he responded when Drake put out that Duppy freestyle. I think this man is already 2-3 steps ahead of Jim Jones, and I think we get a response this week, and I think it's going to be very, very scary. Surgical summer with it. Pusha T is here. Pusha T, I'm not one for the you got a shot clock ready. We expect a response soon, but hopefully we get a response this week, man. I think this was a little bit of enough of a nudge, of a push to, no pun intended, but to, you know, get you going and you know, get a response out of you. This was enough. Now, this was a cool, you know, response thing or whatever. It was cool, but you mentioned the brother, you mentioned Malice. Let's get into this. Does Jim Jones have enough ammunition in this beef to last? Absolutely not. But I'm here for the beef, man. I'm excited for it. I think rap beef brings out a certain level, and it brings out the competitive spirit in rappers that I love. That kind of makes you better. So I'm here for it, man. Let's get into it. Jim Jones versus Pusha T. It's on right now. Pusha T, you have 1 week to respond, bro. Hopefully we get something out of you this week. So let's get into it right now. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is my history lesson of this beef and then my reaction to Jim Jones. So let's get into it, guys. Thank you guys so much. Like the video. We are here for the beef. So if anything drops or anything happens with this beef, we right here with it. So thank you guys again. Keep it a buck.
My shit different, making the kills to pay the bills. You see the spots we living in. Tried your best to recreate me, but we not equivalent. Everybody hit Fugazi, all on our ass sizzling. Run shit like conditioning, yeah. Hop in that thing and I